What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we've got some awesome information for you guys when it comes to The Legend of Zelda. We're talking Skyward Sword HD. We're talking Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Got news and information on all of those games. But before we get into it, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy daily videos, Nintendo content, JRPGs, all of that. We got it right here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as we push towards 100K. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with this game right here, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I bought it back about a decade ago at this point, 2011 fall. It was the big game, the last hurrah for the Nintendo Wii. I bought the special edition, comes with a gold Wii remote, Wii Motion Plus built in, and also a soundtrack. Pretty cool, but I'll be honest, like, the hype wore out very fast for me because I did not like the controls. So Nintendo recently announced a HD version of the game, which looks like it's running 1080p, 60 frames per second, and has some nice upgrades to the controls of the game. You're gonna be able to get better controls because of the Nintendo Switch processing power, and also because the Joy-Cons are just better tech. But if you don't like motion controls, you're also gonna be able to play the game with a Pro controller and play the game in handheld mode with buttons. And to me, that's the biggest update that they could do, is actually making it to where there's button controls. Because I'll be honest, guys, I did not like the game originally with the motion controls. It just felt very wonky to me after a bit. Like, the magic and the mystique kind of faded. I was kind of entranced for a little bit, but then I was just like, I'm not sure if I like sitting here and doing all these motion controls all day and holding the Wii remote up into the air and doing all this. It just got kind of lame for me after a while. So I did beat the game, but I kind of drifted off of it and was just like, let me just get through this. And I didn't enjoy it too much. Now, there's things that I loved about the game, but I didn't enjoy and love it as much as other Zelda games. So I think that with these regular button controls, I think it's going to be a lot better. Plus, like, it's not going to look so jank on my TV, because I had an HD TV even back then, and of course the Wii is 480p. So yeah, that was kind of jank on there. And the frame rate, obviously not bad, but not the best. Now you're going to have better frame rate, better controls, better looks because it's on the TV. So to me, it's definitely going to be a cop 100%. But I wanted to talk about some of the controversies surrounding the game. Then we'll get into the news about this game and what else it could offer, and if Nintendo's holding back some information. So the controversy starts with the game being a port of a Wii game and being $60. That's pricey for a lot of people, considering it's not a new game, it's an old game, and there isn't any content updates to that game. Now, this sounds like a broken record if you're thinking that, or it's like the CJ meme, here we go again, because it's essentially that. We've been having this for quite some time, but usually it's with Wii U games. So those are, I guess, like a little bit graded up, right, than Wii games, but this time it's with the Wii game. So people are pretty upset with that because they're looking at it from other standpoints. So for example, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Mario Galaxy, if you split it up 3 games, it's $20 a pop. So I completely understand where those people are coming from. I completely get it. I think that if it's not worth it to you, like if it's not worth the $60, then simply don't buy the game. It seems like some people want to buy it, but also don't want to pay that price, but they know that the content's there that's worth it, but they've already played it. But if it's not worth it, then I guess you can just not buy it. That's kind of how I see it, at least when it comes to this whole pricing controversy or whatever. It's just like, okay, well, if it's not worth it, then just like don't buy it. Just like if a $70 game on PlayStation 5 is not worth it, then just like don't buy it. You know, that's kind of just how I think, but that's just my own thought process. I know a lot of people feel differently about it and they feel like they're getting ripped off or it's scummy or whatever the case is, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you guys, it's okay to think that, or it's okay to have that opinion. I just personally feel that you should just buy something if you like it, and if you don't like it, then don't buy it. And a lot of people probably didn't play this game because this is one of the worst selling main Zelda games of all time, especially on the highest Nintendo selling system of all time when it comes to home consoles, at least. And it's one of the worst selling ones when it comes to home console Zelda games, is Skyward Sword. So to me, it kind of makes sense that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I don't really care, I never played the game, or I'm gonna get it anyway. And there's a lot of evidence to back up. It seems like a very vocal minority that's out there, because we actually have some sales numbers already coming in, and The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword has skyward shot itself to #1 on the Amazon sales charts already. As soon as those pre-orders went live, people could not wait to go over there and pre-order the game. It shot up past Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which was the previous #1, shot past all the other games that just released, when it's like Persona 5 Strikers and some of the other games that just came out. So this game shot all the way up. So it's making me think, is it just people complaining online that's just like a really big, loud, vocal minority? Because there's no way that you're gonna get these type of sales and people being excited for something if everyone was so upset about it. Or is it people that are upset about it, but still gonna buy the game? I mean, I think it's probably a combination of both. People who are gonna get it, but are still upset and complaining, people who don't care, and people who just buy whatever the heck they want when they want it, or they feel like I do, like, well, you know, it's 60 bucks, but it's worth it because I hated the gameplay originally with the motion controls, and I'm down to play it portable, down to play it with regular button controls. So I think it's just a mix of everything, because the internet, anybody can say anything and have a voice, and sometimes it can seem maybe more than what it is, but there's no way, based on some of the backlash that I've seen, that this game should be #1 on Amazon already, and it is. And to also kind of lead to that, I put up a poll on my channel. Make sure you guys check out my community polls page, and I asked you guys, what was the best announcement from this Nintendo Direct? And guess what? What were people most excited for? The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It actually won by a large amount. I was shocked and surprised to see that, because Splatoon 3 is a brand new game that looks like it has a huge budget for it. The graphics look great and everything, and people picked Skyward Sword over Splatoon. People picked a lot of other games over that. I'm telling you, Splatoon is one of the most disrespected, if not the most disrespected major franchise Nintendo has, but I guess that's a video for another day. But either way, Skyward Sword was the most hyped thing that people had, more than Super Smash Bros. DLC announcement, more than Mario Golf, more than any of the new stuff that was announced. It was The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So that shows me, even in my small sample size of what I have here on my channel, and there was thousands upon thousands of people who voted, is that most people don't care. A lot of Nintendo Switch fans do not care. They want the game on Switch, and they are willing to pay the price to play a super high quality game, whether it's a remake, it's a port, it's a whatever. Just like The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, where people were wondering if that's worth $60 or not based on the content. It's a Game Boy game. Is that really worth $60? People bought that game anyway. Or heck, even like Demon Souls on PlayStation 5. It's a remake of a game that's already old, not a lot of content added in. Oh well, they bought that game anyway, so people will buy what they want, and if they don't want it, you don't have to buy it. I mean, it's not like anybody's forcing you to buy it. So I understand both sides of it. Like, I get both sides of the argument, and I understand where it's like coming from, right? I think I'm objective enough to kind of look at it from both sides, but for me, I don't want to be a hypocrite, you know, and sit there and say I hate this, and then I go out there and buy it, which I'm not a hypocrite. So yeah, I'm buying it. I mean, it looks really good. I'm buying it, man. Like, I didn't like the original release, and now I can play it in 60 frames, and it's gonna look good on my HD TV, on my OLED, or on my monitor that I play it, and now I can use regular button controls, and I can play it portable, and I can just play it comfortably. I think that's worth it for me, but I know for other people it won't be, because they had no problem with the controls. So once again, it's objectively argued on both sides when it comes down to it, but it looks like this game's going to have a massive opening. We see that all the time with Nintendo Switch games, right? Whether it's a port, or it's a remaster, or it's a remake, or it's anything, games come out, especially in the big core line, the Mario, the Zelda, whatever the case is, right? Those always do spectacular. So I get it, I understand it, and I understand that there's lots of people out there, and there's going to be lots of opinions out there, and that's okay. Now, I do want to get into some more information about Skyward Sword and like the whole amiibo support thing that's going on. So it seems like there's some more stuff that Nintendo hasn't told us about The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. There was a listing that the game has amiibo support, and Nintendo did not detail that at all at the Nintendo Direct. They just talked about the motion controls, and they talked about the portable play and the button controls, and that was really it. And they also went over the Joy-Cons, the Special Edition Zelda Joy-Cons, but they didn't really talk about anything else that's being added to this game. So with that whole amiibo support page listing that's kind of came up, I think that there's some more quality of life or other things that have been added to Skyward Sword, and Nintendo purposefully did not say anything, because they're going to have a Legend of Zelda Direct where they talk about the next thing that we're going to discuss, and we're going to go ahead and just jump right into that, and that's the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, both rumored to be coming out in 2021 on the Nintendo Switch, which is not a big shock or surprise. I don't think anybody should be shocked or surprised, and I've talked about this multiple times on this channel that, yeah, those games are going to come. Like, I'm not surprised at all. But I want to talk about this. So based on what Andy Robinson has to say on Twitter, he said this, quote, "For those disappointed with the Skyward Sword remaster, or port, or whatever you want to call it, HD, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are 100% coming this year. So that's at least one good 3D Zelda game." So he only thinks one of them is good out of all of those. Very interesting take there from Andy. But then again, he likes N64 over GameCube, so we can't take what he says seriously. No, I'm joking, Andy. I'm joking. I'm just joking. Anyway, we had a nice little discussion on Twitter the other day. Okay, so now another one here is Cheesemeister, who originally put up this, says, "Well, look on the bright side. If you already have the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Wii U, there's no need to re-buy them again. Then Tom Phillips goes there and responds to him saying, see you in a couple months, smiley face. So yeah, it definitely seems, based on all the information so far, that The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess will be coming over to the Nintendo Switch this year. It's Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary. Nintendo likes to re-release games, and they're probably just gonna wait till a Zelda themed direct. They did say during that presentation at the Nintendo Direct, Mr. Aonuma said that, hey, we're gonna have to wait a little bit more for information that will come later with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. So it can easily be announced as some type of Zelda Direct where they kind of just have all sorts of special stuff. So I think they just wanted to maybe talk about The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD first, because that game's never been re-released, compared to The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which is, this will be the 4th release for the game. Wind Waker will be the 3rd release. Twilight Princess already released on the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U. So that's already 3 releases for the game, and it's already in HD. You can play it, obviously, Wii U dead system, I get that, but we've already played it in HD. And then, of course, Wind Waker was already released on the GameCube, then it was re-released on the Wii U. So this is the 3rd release for the game. So I think they just kind of wanted to start out something with, hey, this is this one here, and we have the tech that actually supports it better, plus the button controls, get people started on that. Then at the Zelda Direct presentation, or at some other time where they announce more information, then they will reveal Wind Waker HD and also Twilight Princess HD for the Nintendo Switch. And with these two guys saying it, and their track record's pretty good when it comes to reporting on things. They're not people that just go out there and just say whatever they want. I definitely think it's going to be happening. I mean, I also have heard the same things as well for quite some time, so I don't think there's any chance that these two games don't come over as well. I think it's a lot of Zelda fans just being a little bit impatient on this one and getting upset about it, or whatever the case is, because they wanted their game and they didn't get it at this point. But it's definitely coming. I do feel that it will be, and I think, of course, it would be great, obviously, to have all these different big Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch, being able to play anywhere that you want. That's really good. Although I will say, with Wind Waker HD, that's going to be interesting with that game, because I think it actually plays really well on the Wii U with the dual screen, and now you're going back to how it played on the GameCube. And I remember one time that I actually switched over to the Pro Controller and didn't want to use the gamepad, and just said, okay, well, let me see how it plays just like this. And it was hard for me to continue playing it after I'd already gotten used to using the Wii U gamepad and having that there. So will it play better on the Nintendo Switch compared to the Wii U with just how like the map works and the sailing and all of that? It'll probably run better. I think they'll probably bump it up to maybe 60 frames per second like they did with Skyward Sword, but we're still gonna have to wait and see. I thought we'd get 60 with Wind Waker HD from the GameCube and everything, and we did it, and there was some dips and stuff. So I think they'll probably smooth it out at least with Wind Waker, and then of course Twilight Princess 30 frames per second. So we'll see what they do with that. Hopefully they bump it up 1080p 60 across the board, but the pricing is going to be very interesting, because everyone's complaining right now about the pricing right here with these games. What are they going to do with these two? I think it's going to be bundled together for 60. I think. I could be wrong. It could be separate and 60 a pop, but I think they're going to bundle these two together since the games are already in HD, and I think they have to do less work to adapt them to the Switch, whereas with the Wii, they had to completely revamp the control scheme, like completely, and of course, getting the game from Wii to the Nintendo Switch. Those controls were probably something that they had to work on quite a bit, whereas with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I mean, those were done. I mean, I just think they have to just bump up the frame rate and stuff like that, and maybe the resolution. It's already 1080p, so just lock it at 1080p or whatever. So optimize it for the Nintendo Switch instead of the Wii U, of course. So to me, that's what I think is going down. So a lot of information on The Legend of Zelda, a lot of information on what's going down here with it, a lot of controversy when it comes to what people are saying with the pricing and all that. Now I want to know you guys' thoughts and you guys' opinions. Make sure you put them in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.